Okay.
It'll be somewhat fun.
John Slender, how are you? Good.
I'm not sure, I just did
Yeah.
Are you sure you're in 15?
Yes. You want to hook me up to a
I
room?
do. I really do.
Hook me up, baby. I don't want to be dead. I'll do anything not to be dead. I'll push myself to make sure I'm okay. And then I'll wake up and do it again.
Toni asked me if I would do that for the benefit calendar. And I said, you got to be kidding, you know. But for her, I did this. You know, it was early in the morning. She wanted to do it at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I can't remember if it was cold out or not, but I pulled my truck further on up. And I said, you gotta be kidding me. And when she described to me how she wanted me. She says, I want you just in your railroad boots and in your railroad vest. And how about your conductor's hat? I said, fine. And she says, have you got a lantern you can just hold in front of you? So that's how that developed. One thing led to the other over a period of time in the conversation. She says, what would you think about taking your vest off? I said, I'll tell you what, I'll take my vest off if you take off your clothes when you take the picture. Well, that negotiation didn't go so good, so the vest stayed on. The smile that I've got on my face and the laugh is really genuine. I thought, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm friends with the Canadian National Railroad track inspector. And the day that we were going to do this, he came by on the tracks. 15 minutes more, I would have been standing in the middle of the tracks, which is illegal, standing between the tracks in our railroad rules. And he would have caught me out there naked holding this lantern. Can you imagine what word would have went through the railroad? Isn't that, I mean, that's, you had to be there. It's funny.
You dodged the bullet.
It was, and he went by and I thought, you gotta be kidding me. You know, I almost screwed myself here. And that's what I'm known for now, the calendar guy.
The first time when I drove right by the town, missed the whole town, I realized, wow, this is small town.
Everybody has what they think Minnesota's like. That description, when people talk about the accents and oh, how are ya, and all that, that's Marine. It's the quintessential Minnesotan town.
You know, Marine is a very small town, and until people get to know you, they can kind of be a little bit standoffish.
I pretty much didn't think people liked me at all, when I came there, because I wasn't from there. I was Greek, They don't have Greeks in Marine, they have Swedish people. And I felt really out of place.
There was lots of discussion about her when she came down.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she's, well, first of all, they weren't married. You know, her and John.
Yes.
And he was a good Swede and she's a wild Greek.
Yes.
She's loud and she's in your face and she's crazy and everybody here is so quiet. And at least what they present to you is very quiet and reserved and Swedish. So I think everybody here was a little taken aback by her when she got here.
Toni asked me if I would do it. I had a lot of apprehension. I'm not, exactly comfortable in my own skin, not a model, but I remember I had a few beers, so I agreed to it, and, it's like, I had a lot of angst about it, a lot of anxiety, and then the day came, and I had even more anxiety, so I started drinking a few beers, and I knew what I wanted to do, and I was just gonna be totally naked and sad anxiety. So, but a few summits and this is what came out. Well, I wanted it to be funny. I mean, it had to be something funny and like I said, there's no real good place to do it at Brookside. No one wants to see me with my shirt off in the restaurant. So downstairs is the only real place. People were saying, oh, well, get a can of beer, get a six-pack. And so I was like, nah, I'm going to pick up a keg and pop out of the door like I'm surprised that someone was there taking my picture. Like, this is how I do it downstairs.
Everyone knew I had had cancer previously because gossip, and because people in the town would come in and visit me because they had cancer, and then we would just start talking, and it was comforting to talk to me, I guess.
I mean, if you think about everything she's been through, she was diagnosed 14 or 15 years ago, and she's still just like, hi, I'm Toni, da da da. She's not, hi, I'm Toni, I have cancer.
She doesn't say, oh, I'm fine, thanks for asking. She tells you what's going on with her, and so that level of authenticity really invites people to be who they are. She's great. She's just got this giant welcome mat.
Every time I see her, we can laugh together.
Yes, sir, I know, Drew.
And cry together, but I always leave with a smile. I mean, there are days that I literally stop to get my Toni fix.
We feed off of each other. And before you know it, we're both laughing so hard, we have tears running down our faces.
1,000 miles ago. I forgot about that in the movie.
And I can't. There's been times when I'm laughing so hard I can't stand up. It's like, Toni, I gotta sit down, I gotta sit down.
She'll want to know how you are, and she's sincere about it. The poor thing's dying, and she'll find out about you first. Isn't that incredible? Never met anybody like her that way.
It's kind of crazy to think that it takes somebody who's really sick and not doing well, who's having poor life situations to make you feel better. Mm-hmm. But it makes me want to be a better person because I know her and because I want to be good for her, which really doesn't make sense. But
no, it's true. Mm-hmm. She makes everybody better. She does.
Well, every time I go in there and she's not there, you kind of put your tongue in your cheek and you're afraid to ask, what's the bad news today? We're all rooting for her, of course, and we all have feelings for her.
Just felt like we really wanted to do something, and you get giggling about stuff, and we may have had a glass of wine, and you probably didn't at the time, but
no, I was drinking then. I had a glass of wine, yeah. And we got laughing about the Calendar Girls movie, and how funny it would be. We were like, oh, wouldn't that be funny if we could get so and so to pose naked? And I mean, it was like we just got silly and talking, and the next morning you called me and said, let's do it.
You were serious, right? And I'm like, well, sure, if people are game, I'll do it. But I was shocked that many people would agree to do it. Right. I really didn't think that people would be game.
Okay, I will.
I started talking to people, some of my friends, and at first I got quite a few friends that were like, yeah, I'll do that with you. Then when you really start thinking about it and you start talking to your husbands or you start thinking about all of us have kids in school. So that became another factor, like, how do you explain this to your kid? And what are other people going to say, you know? So it really was the night before we actually figured out what we were going to do, and that I was really sure that there would be women beside me. There was literally like a UPS truck coming down the street as we were taking this picture. So you never quite know who's going to be there. And then when Verna said, okay, the shirts just fell to the road, and there we were. My favorite thing about this picture is that Toni is in there. She was inside her door kind of watching, and pretty soon we're like, get out here. And she started to walk towards us, and then she said, oh, my oxygen won't reach. And then all of a sudden she goes, oh, to hell with the oxygen. And she threw her tube on the road and walked up and stood there.
What up? For what? No.
Gorgeous, gorgeous, and more gorgeous. I think we're done. Good morning. Fantastic. You're done. Done.
I actually got eye makeup on. What the hell is it doing?
Nothing.
Yay!
It's unstoppable.
What the hell is it doing? So, you know where makeup...
I don't know. I can't even imagine what it would be like to be surrounded with your whole town just loving you.
I wish I could put the love of Maureen into a bottle or something and sell it, because you'd sell a lot of it, but I don't think you can. It's hard to even put it into words.
We didn't have any idea that people cared about me like that, cared about us like that at all. You just didn't realize that people had that capacity, I guess. There's such a huge connection now with people. You guys would never believe it.
It reminds me of Pat. That's
No, you should.
Toni just asked me, and she just asked me if I'd think about it. And I think I stunned her by saying yes right away. And I probably should have thought about it more, but I didn't. I just thought, like, sure.
I was nervous at his shoot. I didn't get nervous really at anybody else's. Yeah, I'm like, it's a pastor, I'm in a church. Do you know, I was raised Catholic, so I still have that residue.
You know, we walked around, and then, do I stand behind the altar? And, that was one of the ideas that I'm like, I'm fine with that. And Verna's like, yeah, I don't know about this idea.
He would have posed anywhere. He's like,
Right.
where do you think
Behind
I
the
should be?
pulpit.
Should I be up in the pulpit? I'm like, oh, no. What about just standing, at the altar? And, no.
There's a moment of just acknowledging, okay, this is who I am. Maybe I would love to lose weight. I would love to look better, but I don't. Literally, the picture depicts you as naked, but you really sort of sense you are naked. I mean, there's nothing you're not hiding anything now. Toni's a better example of that than me in terms of she is who she is. This is who she is. She's had surgeries to adjust what her body looks like. She has tubes that most days she has to carry with her. Who you are is the good and the bad together, and, deal with it.
When I first really started to get to know her, I wouldn't have thought she would be around in 6 months.
I think the garage in the town is what's keeping her alive. And she's told me that. She said, if I don't come in here to work every day, she said, I will die. She told me that.
Holy shit, that would have been really scary.
She needs to be at work because she gets so much out of people coming in and out of the shop. And there's healing in being down there.
If she weren't here in this town with these people, she would have been gone a long time ago.
I should have probably drank a quart of scotch first.
The very first person that I photograph is the most nervous of anybody I have ever photographed.
I committed myself to it because of Toni. It's still not easy for me to expose myself because I believe I'm very quiet and very protective of who I am, especially when it comes to this, but the cause is one of the greatest things.
We were having coffee together, and I'm like, it's kind of nice out. Let's just get it over with. And he's like now? And I said, well, yeah, why not?
I came back up. I said, Mom, I need some stuff. She was like, what? I said, well, do you have my serape? Which was a curtain. I never actually wore it, and she came up with this blanket, and I said, well, how about 2 hats? Yeah, it's upstairs in the garage. So then I said, well, what do you think? Oh, this will be perfect.
And he's proud of his Mexican heritage. And he has a Cinco de Mayo party every year, and so
we're honoring his heritage. Are you kidding me?
It was fun, but it's just weird to think how many people are looking. All of a sudden, they turn the camera on, and it's like, me now? And it's like, oh, thank God it's over with.
I just loved him. I just absolutely loved him, that despite having that much anxiety about doing this, that he would, out of love, proceed in that spirit of faith. And I have so much respect and love for him.
It's so much more than the calendar. That's what's so fun about it.
What is it for you?
I'm gonna cry. I don't know. I don't know. It just touches something so deep down that to know that you don't have to die alone or unloved or all of those things. Because that would be just sad to be dying of cancer and to sit in your bedroom or wherever, your living room, and wither away. And yet Toni comes to work every day. It's amazing.
It just speaks to me of the amazing love that exists. 2 seconds after you're dead, none of this matters. None of this matters. The car you drive, the house you live in, whether your kid was a drug addict, whether your kid was president, none of it matters. What matters is, have you loved well? Have you opened up your heart and loved? And so this is love manifested in the face of powerlessness. None of these people can do anything to cure Toni. So the best that we can do is walk with her in the best way that we know how, in the imperfect way that we know how.
I don't want to be dead. I'll do anything not to be dead. I'll push myself to make sure I'm okay. And then I'll wake up and do it again. Until the day when I can't. And then I'm going to be pissed. When I can't. Yeah, well. There, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done now.